Welcome to The American Dream, a show that started right here in San Diego, America's finest city, that now spans positive media all across the country, real stories in real neighborhoods. Hi, I'm your host, Craig Sewing, and here's The American Dream. Welcome to The American Dream, a real show, not a reality show. The real estate, the lifestyle, the culture.
It's not just about what you're living in, but the community you're going to live in.
High-rise luxury living.
People are the vehicle, people are the connection, people are the expansion.
Helping folks just like you find your dream home.
It just never disappoints.
Real stories in real neighborhoods with real experts. The opportunity to achieve our biggest goals and aspirations.
Here's the American Dream.
When you hear the name REO Speedwagon, you probably think of the 80s rock band. But what you might not know is they got their name from Ransom E. Olds, founder of the Oldsmobile, and his self-named pickup truck, the REO Speedwagon. Today we are inside the R.E. Olds Transportation Museum in Lansing, Michigan. I'm your host, Allison Alfredson, and welcome to The American Dream. I'd like to introduce our first guest, Henry Green. He is the museum's chairman of the board of trustees. Thanks for having us today.
Well, thank you.
I'm really glad to be here. I would love for you to tell us a little bit more about the museum itself and what kind of draw the museum has to the area.
Well, thank you very much. The museum is just really more than a collection of cars. It is a collection of the history of Lansing. This collection provides people an opportunity to think back about how Lansing really evolved. Many of the activities that we have here at the museum are intended to draw the community in. Cars and Conies, where people can come in and talk about their cars and actually be able to share information about their history in the automobile industry. It is a place where people who volunteer in this organization to provide services so that we can actually carry out the work of the museum, which is to preserve and promote the history of the automobile history of Michigan. It's also a place where we do things like the Car Capital Show, with over 200 cars are here on display during the summer. It is one of our biggest events. It is one of the things that draw a lot of people to the museum to see all the cars, the various types of cars, and also to be able to tour the museum and look inside to see the things that we have to offer.
Yeah. Here we are with Sarah Schultz. Welcome. Tell me a few things about this car that we're sitting in.
Oh, so we are sitting in a 1953 Oldsmobile Super 88. It was built right here in Lansing.
This is wonderful. So Sarah, this vehicle is from 1901.
Yes, it is.
What can you tell me about this?
This is a 1901 Curved Dash Olds. So this car is considered one of the most important cars in history, really. This was the first mass-produced car. Most people think it's the Model T,
Yeah.
but it was actually this one. This one was mass-produced and it was actually built on an assembly line. So first of all, we noticed that you're sitting on the right-hand side,
That's
which
right.
yeah, that's actually the correct position for driving.
Feels a little weird.
Yeah, back then, most cars were driver on the right-hand side. So you do not have a steering wheel. You have what we call a tiller. This is how you're gonna steer the car. And then we have just a few pedals down there. They're gonna be a little familiar and a little not. One of them is going to be for reverse, and then we also have one for acceleration there. I should mention too, before you get up there to drive, you actually have to start the car from the outside.
All right, why don't you show us a little bit about that?
So it's right over there, as you can see. Supposedly, if you were really strong, you could start the car from that sitting position. But most people had to get out and they had to crank it that way. And when it starts, it's very interesting sound.
Yeah.
It is a 5 horsepower, 1-cylinder engine. And when it starts up, I mean, it's just put, put, put. And you can actually see the car bouncing up and down with each of those little putts.
I can imagine that from the old videos that we've seen, right?
Yeah, and now this does go about 15 miles an hour. So it is a little scary from my personal experience. You might want to hang on to the bars here.
So Sarah, behind us we have a police car and a fire truck. Why are they in this museum?
All right, so the fire truck was made by Rio. Rio was another major car company that was building here in Lansing, and they became really well known for their trucks, such as Speedwagon. So a lot of Rio trucks were transformed into fire trucks. Also, we have the police car behind us. That's because the Lansing Police Department, for a very long time, used Oldsmobiles as their police cars.
This is really fascinating. Whether you're a car enthusiast or a history buff or just looking for something really amazing to do, motor down to Lansing, Michigan's Transportation Museum. I'm your host, Allison Alfredson, and thank you for joining me on The American Dream.
Well, hello, Grand Rapids. My name is Lisa Thomas, and I'm your host for American Dream TV. Tonight, we're going to check out the Comedy Project, and in fact, I heard they're having a dress rehearsal. So let's get started. We are here tonight with the owner and artistic director of the Comedy Project.
Yes, hello, thank you, ta-da!
When did the Comedy Project open?
I had been touring for almost 10 years doing a sketch comedy show. So I used to work and tour with a place called Second City out of Chicago, and then I had my own group. And we toured around, and right around like 2017, 2018, Grand Rapids, the city was just changing so much. And I was like, man, I think Grand Rapids could handle a place like this now and like support it. And so officially we opened in 2019. We do shows every Friday and Saturday at 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock. And then on Monday, we kind of turn over the theater to another group that produces kind of like an open mic variety show.
So Grand Rapids, we have Laugh Fest.
Yeah.
How do you pair up with Laugh Fest, or what is your role at Laugh Fest?
Now we are an official venue, so we'll have usually at least 4 to a half dozen events here.
So other than shows here at the Comedy Project, what else do you do?
We do a lot of private events, like corporate workshops, and then we have classes, and it still freaks me out, but like right now in Grand Rapids here, there's almost 150 people taking comedy classes.
Is there a chance that we could sit in your dress rehearsal and see the behind the scenes of what goes on with you and your talent?
Yeah, I almost think you should. Unlike a lot of comedy clubs that people have been to, we're an improv and sketch comedy theater, so that's more like Whose Line Is It Anyway, SNL, Key and Peele, that kind of stuff, and there's nothing else like that anywhere around here. So this is, of course, the big main theater where we do our shows.
We're getting extra special treatment, and we get to go backstage now.
Okay, then this is one of our other like classrooms, rehearsal spaces, and so we do like improv classes, sketch comedy classes, we do stand-up writing classes, and then there's also like props, you know, there's big puppets and lockers full of doctor stuff and gas masks, and this isn't all of it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's more. You want to see the crazy stuff?
Would it be that way?
Yeah, it's
okay, let's go see.
That's probably our private events manager. Kristen, you're in there?
Yeah, it's me. It's me, yeah. I was spending some time with my friend.
So Kristen?
Yes.
What would you call this room that we're standing in?
We call it the dressing room. This is where we keep everything, all of our props and costumes for the different shows we do, sketch and improv. So for our sketch shows, we often have a lot of different costume changes. So this is where they all live.
We've got to see backstage. I would really love to see the stage.
On stage?
On stage.
You want that limelight, don't you?
Maybe.
Come on.
Okay.
I found you.
We were walking in the hallway and I lost you.
Yeah, well, if you just go through a door, you end up on the stage here, so.
Okay, so we're on the stage.
We're on the stage.
So how do you get over like stage fright or fear of being on the stage? I know that you're not scared to be on the stage, but for someone that's getting into this, what do you do? What do you suggest?
It is literally like anything else, it's just practice. So I've been doing this over 10 years. We have classes here, so if you've never been on stage before, that's a great way to just kind of like dip your toes into being on a stage and doing something like this. And then the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Can we please sit and watch the dress rehearsal?
Yes, you can. One's just about to start, so why don't you grab a seat?
And that's a wrap. Thank you for joining us here behind the scenes at the Comedy Project. Tune in next time as we explore lifestyle, culture, and real estate. Until then, keep laughing and dreaming.
Welcome to the American Dream Traverse City. I'm your host, Brian McGillivray, and we're inside one of the original buildings of the Northern Michigan Asylum, which opened in 1885. Definitely in need of a makeover. Today we're going to meet with one of the people responsible for the rebirth of these historic buildings into a vibrant community. So let's go see what you can do with 140-year-old brick buildings. At its heyday, the Traverse City State Hospital comprised 680 acres, 65 buildings, a working farm, and housed 3,600 patients, all just minutes from downtown. Over time, with medical advancements, the patient population shrunk, the buildings deteriorated, and the state closed the hospital in 1989. Over the next dozen years, it faced bulldozing on more than one occasion. This community is resilient, stubborn, and wasn't ready to give up on an important part of its history. Eventually, local leaders found the right people, the Minervini Group, who had the vision and resilience to take on this daunting historic renovation. We're here with Raymond Minervini of the Minervini Group, the family business that took over redevelopment of the village of Grand Traverse Commons and Building 50. Hey, tell me a little bit about how this got started.
The credit goes to Ray Sr., who was involved with a preservation group wanting to see Building 50, this grand building that we're in, preserved and reused. The idea was to create a mixed-use walkable neighborhood with apartments and condominiums and businesses and cafes, the bakery. And that was really what compelled us to do this, to preserve the buildings by giving them new life. It was really all about creating a place for people to live and to interact and to do business and have the needs of the day, all within walking distance of each other, surrounded by the beautiful parkland of the Grand Traverse Commons.
They must have really trusted you, because I walked through this building before it had started development. It's a huge structure. Pretty amazing job you guys have done, and you really created a community here. And not everyone actually knows about, because you're kind of tucked away inside the city.
Right. The very qualities that made it a great site for an asylum are part of why we're a little hidden off, because the idea for these asylums back in the old days was to create this park-like, bucolic setting in which to have a place for healing and therapy. It's a great way to preserve the context of this historic place, but keep it alive with these new uses. Yeah, we're about 75% completed with what's under roof, so there's still a lot of square footage yet to build out. Most of that's going to be apartments and condominiums. It's most of the way there, but there's still some ways to go.
There's still a lot of opportunity.
A lot of opportunity.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We're at Earth and Ales, one of my favorite breweries in Traverse City, with the owners and founders, Andrew and Jamie. Tell me a little bit about how you guys got into this brewery business.
My husband and I actually were home brewing before we met each other, so we were brewing separately. We ended up working in the same office on sustainability work at the City of Ann Arbor, and I brought him a growler from Shorts Brewing up north. And after that, we just started homebrewing together, started dating, started talking about beer more and more, and just at the end of the day, we always talk about beer, so that's kind of what led us to explore this a little bit more.
What brought you to locate your first brewery up here in Traverse City in the village at Grand Traverse Commons?
Andrew and I both used to be urban planners, so we have a love for renovations of historic buildings and adaptive reuse of properties. So the first time we saw this space, we kind of knew it was where we wanted to be, and we really like that we help people visit the village at Grand Traverse Commons and that we bring people here too, so we help people see the whole story and the history of this space.
So what do you find unique about this location?
A former urban planning professional who was focused on sustainability to use existing infrastructure, existing buildings, roadways that are already here, but you also get the benefit of character and patina that only comes through time.
What was this building originally?
So the building that our tap room is in was the paint shop. They were continually painting the buildings, furniture. It was a nonstop process.
You just don't get opportunities like that everywhere, and it's kind of what makes this a really special slice of people and places and things.
So thank you for joining us today at the Grand Traverse Commons, a growing and vibrant community full of real estate opportunity. I'm your host and real estate expert, Brian McGillivray, and this is your American Dream.
Hi, I'm Sandra Scott, and this is my co-host Dee Dee, my trusted border collie, and this is American Dream TV. We are at Leelanau State Park at the very, very tip of the Leelanau Peninsula. You cannot go any farther north on the Leelanau Peninsula than Leelanau State Park. We're gonna check out the Grand Traverse Lighthouse Museum, which is a small part of a much bigger state park here at the tip of the Leelanau Peninsula. Come check it out. Let's take a look. So I'm here with Stephanie Staley, Executive Director of the Grand Traverse Lighthouse Museum at the very, very tip of the Leelanau Peninsula, and we just really want to learn all about the lighthouse.
Great. Well, welcome. Thanks for coming out. So the lighthouse was originally built in 1852. This building here was built in 1858. It's the second lighthouse. We're at the very tip. To the north of us, 25 miles, is Beaver Island. And then to the west of us are the Manitous.
There's quite a story as it relates to Beaver Island and King James Strand, right? So what's allegedly what happened with him?
So legend has it that he had some of his people actually raid the lighthouse in 1853, once in the fall and once in the spring, and they took all the supplies and all the food and everything.
And it's not the only raid that he's alleged
No, he raided houses from here all the way around the Gills Pier and even south towards Manistee.
Yeah. If you're not familiar with King James Strand, that's something you'll want to check out, that legend about, it's more than a legend. I mean, he really did claim himself to be a king.
He did.
And you can check that out with Beaver Island history. And when I was a kid, there was a Boy Scout cabin in Leelanau State Park. At that time, the light
would spin around. Yes.
And now it just flashes.
Correct.
Right? Well, yeah, when I was a little boy, it would spin and we'd play kick the can right out here and use the timing of the spinning of the light to make our goal for the can, you know. But I have a lot of great memories out here at Leelanau State Park. So what makes this 37 acres that I have listed so special is that it's so private, so secluded. It's adjacent to Leelanau State Park, and then catty corner across Lighthouse Point Road, you've got the Leelanau Conservancy trails and land. So you're surrounded by protected land from development. It is private, secluded, and you're just out here in nature. So we're here on North Cathead Bay Drive. This is sort of a natural entrance into this 37 acres that I have listed, again, adjacent to Leelanau State Park and right catty corner from Leelanau Conservancy property. We're gonna take a short walk in here. We're not gonna walk the whole 37 acres because 37 acres is just a lot of land. I'm Sandra Scott, and this is Dee Dee, and we are living the American dream.
Hi, welcome to American Dream TV. Sally in Traverse City, this is your host, Jennifer Edson Rife. And today we are in Lake Leelanau at Nittolo's Pizzaria and Restaurants. We are going to have a taste of the most fabulous, authentic Italian pizza in the north. Let's go meet Eric. Hi, we're sitting here with Eric Nittolo from Nittolo Pizzaria and Restaurants in Lake Leelanau, Michigan. We're here to pick his brain about his restaurant that he's had open for what, 4 years?
3 years today.
Nice.
Yeah, today's our 3 full year anniversary. Pretty fantastic, that's for sure.
So tell us a little bit about your restaurant and pizzeria.
We are a Florentian style pizzeria. Very authentic style in the way we put things together.
So what goes into making a pizza?
So when this pizza was formed back in Charlottesville, Virginia, there was a baker, and through her books, I found something that was a little unique. So we don't use the standard process XO flour that they use in Italy. We use whole wheat, unrefined, unbleached bread flour, and wheat germ, and medium rye, so it has a very unique depth, and we inoculate with honey, not sugar, where most people have gone in that aspect. We typically try to go 3 days, from the day we make dough to the day we use it. So it's not like, hey, make dough use today. We can't do that. So technically it's like 3 to 4 days to make a pizza, but from when the dough is ready to go to finish, it's 4 minutes maybe. In the oven, it's 2 minutes. You know, depending on where it sits in the oven, and we're 100% wood. And so what we try to do here is, I've always said, put romance in the food, romance in the environment. You know, let's bring love back to the world and life, and if we do it through food.
Food is good.
Food is good.
Pizza is great.
There you are. That's exactly right. Want to throw an apron on and do pizza?
Let's make some pizza.
There you go, we can do that.
All right, we're here with Dominic. We're gonna learn to toss some pizza dough. Okay, let's go.
All right.
I'm gonna follow your lead.
We're just gonna do it?
Yep. Hi, we're sitting here today with Elizabeth Hunter from 5 Star Real Estate. We are at 473 North Manitou Trail, Lake Leelanau, Michigan, and she's going to tell us a little bit about the house.
So this is a very special property built in 1903, and it's affectionately referred to by locals as the Snowbird. Well, originally this property was a cow farm, and after it was a cow farm, it switched to cherries, and now it's apples.
So could someone make a cidery out of this?
They could. It has zoning to be run as a cidery, so that makes it another really exciting prospect for a potential buyer. So the story goes that this house was built as a lookout for Al Capone's house, Heart's Ease, which is down the street on Lake Michigan.
Oh, that's really neat. We'll have to go look out some windows.
I know, we love a good story.
Yes. So what were you saying about the Sugar Shack?
The original Sugar Shack is actually at the front of the house, so it's where they would make the maple syrup, and they actually found one of the original bowls that they would boil. So that's kind of a fun little feature that all of those things are still here. Those historic buildings have been left in shape. It really is a wonderful spot. Have a cup of coffee or a glass of wine and take a look at the beautiful scenery.
And this is Jennifer Edson Rife, selling Traverse City. See you next time.
Well, I hope you enjoyed today's show, produced from America's finest city, but shot in the heart of your neighborhoods. Don't forget positive media when the world really needs it. Follow us on social media at The American Dream TV. See you next time. In the meantime, cheers to your American dream.